The guy's a complete abomination. And at some point, enough is going to be enough. I don't know when that's going to be. The buyout is $33 million. But it's going to be, sayonara, pal. Go lose somewhere else.
Yeah.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
There's only one way where we can start today. And they call it the madness for a reason. And, if you listen to this show for any amount of time whatsoever, you probably know that I'm knee-deep in Kentucky futures, or I was anyway. But you also know our feelings overall about John Calipari, the head coach, and how bad we think he is as a guy who is in charge of this program now and has been for way too many years. Losers outright last night, 13.5-point favorites, gigantic number on the money line, as well as highs minus $11. So that means you have to put down $1,100 to win $100. That's a huge favorite. And unlike some of these other teams yesterday, Paulie, like Illinois, like Tennessee, like Arizona, a bunch of other teams who were like, and not even Tennessee, but the others who were maybe in a little bit of trouble right away, Creighton, they eventually pulled away with their A game because they're better than their competition. And that's how you do it. Kentucky never had that opportunity yesterday because they're a disaster. And they played a terrible basketball game. They were ill-prepared. It's like they had never watched or scouted Galki once for Oakland, who, by the way, had 8 two-point attempts the entire year and more than 300 threes. And not until the second half, really, do you change up the defense? And Calipari, after the game, was like, well, they hit a ton of good shots. Really difficult. Well, how about you know that you need to have somebody who's better than him or defensively who's taller than him right away so he's not going scorched earth. And then your two best offensive players, Dillingham and Shepard, they don't get an offensive shot until the 15-minute mark of the first half. The guy's a complete abomination. And at some point, enough is going to be enough. I don't know when that's going to be. The buyout is $33 million. But it's going to be, sayonara, pal. Go lose somewhere else.
Yeah, treating him like he's Red Auerbach. How was that allowed that's the buyout in a lifetime deal? They are sick and tired of this. And in the last 10 tournament games, that's SEC and the Madness, 2-8 straight up, favored in every game. Think about that. Tournament wins the last 4 years. Fairleigh Dickinson 2, Oral Roberts 2, Kentucky 1. The scout was atrocious. Galki's wide open in the first half. All he does is shoot threes, and no one's on him. But the other thing was, I thought Barkley made a great point that because if the mid-major can shoot a three, it can negate the size of the power school, the conference team. And that's certainly what happened yesterday as well. But they also were in a 14 seed, and they also were no fluke because the Grizzlies have Townsend down low, and they have the outside game with Galki and a fantastic coach. Yep. They're lucky that was close at halftime. I thought Kempe was awesome with the halftime interview. We don't foul. Look at the numbers. Mm-hmm. They're calling nothing but fouls on us. We got all these guys in foul trouble. Kentucky's getting a ton of points at the free throw line. We have to fix that, but shame on the officials. And even you still thought the comeback was coming, at least in play, because still late in the game with 4 minutes left, Oakland's up 4. They're still only $1.30 to win the game. But it's this guy's a terrible coach. And now we'll see if they run him out, which you would have to say enough's enough. But the $33 million buyout, they are just nauseous in Lexington. And, I don't blame them. But that is it's a disgrace and an embarrassment that you are 2-8 straight up when you're favored. You can't win a tournament game. You're a horrible tournament coach. And Fairleigh Dickinson has more wins the last 4 years, and you have all this talent. And I don't want to hear about the NBA guys and the 7-8 NBA guys.
No, neither do I. Although, the list of guys who have gone to Kentucky and then moved on to the NBA to play in that league have made now combined way more than $1 billion, and they've made who knows how many All-Star games.
Oh, he loves to say that.
This guy has not, with all that talent, again, has not won a national title in 12 years. They have not been in the Final Four since that 38-0 team, which never won the national title, by the way, with Karl Towns and Devin Booker, and he had no idea how to play them back then, right? The platoon system. Good job. That's the last time they made the Final Four, was 2015.
Bledsoe, Wall, and Cousins couldn't make the Final Four.
That's correct. Yeah. So, again, were you ever prepared for the game? Were the players ready to go? There was an and one opportunity in the first half where the kid for Oakland misses the free throw.
Oh, yes.
There's 4 guys there on the free throw line getting a rebound for Kentucky. They get the rebound. No, none of them. They all thought it was like a 2-shot foul. They just throw the ball out of bounds. It's Oakland ball.
Yep.
Like, what?
It's enormous.
How does that happen?
Yep.
So you're right. I don't know how the lead was 3. It's because they had some decent shot making on offense to keep them in. But I've been saying this now for, 2 months. Wagner should not even be near a Division I basketball court. Yet he came in with these 5-star accolades, so he committed right away. He was the highest-ranked kid, I believe. So Calipari and his stupid loyalty's like, I got to start the kid. Can't play. He's horrible. And somehow he'll be an NBA player and probably blossom into a really good guard. But Calipari doesn't know. Edwards, I like the kid. I want to give him tons of chances. Should not be starting. And it takes... Reed Sheppard shot 53% from 3 this year. 53%. And the Ringer just mocked him to go number 1 overall in the draft. I think it was The Athletic, I apologize if I'm wrong, who made the case for Rob Dillingham to go number 1 this week. So think about that backcourt. He doesn't start either guy. And those guys, I would take in a 3-point shooting contest against anybody not named Steph Curry right now. And they don't start, and they never got a shot off until 15 minutes into the first half. It's just maddening how awful he is. Now, so then you're going to ask the question probably, and you laugh at me every single November. You're like, Mitch, don't fall for it. And I said, Paul, this year's team is different. Offensively, they never came around defensively. So I have just a boatload of Kentucky futures. And we say this as well. Like, if you follow a team, if you watch a team, if you know a team, that's when you can capitalize. Well, this is probably the number 1 team that I know in sports going back. I've paid attention for 35 years now. And with this guy specifically for almost 2 decades, to me, you could see it coming, and it just was not going to get any better. So in play last night, I had Oakland up the wazoo. So I was able to get back about 2.5 times of what my original position was on Kentucky to win the national title. I can't believe that at one sports book at halftime with Oakland out to a 3-point lead, they had Kentucky 10.5 for the game. 10.5 for the game.
To me, it was apparent they weren't going to run away and hide.
Oh, absolutely.
If they were going to win, it was going to be close. Yep.
You could see it coming from a mile away.
Yeah, how about the shots that Reeves made? I mean, they're lucky that was close down the stretch.
I know.
They kept bombs away, and every 3 was going in, but couldn't get stops. Horrible job defensively. Horrible scout. Good point about what are you doing on the free throw with Townsend, where they think they don't know it's an and 1. They thought it was 2 free throws.
Oakland got a zillion offensive rebounds. Yep. Kentucky was careless on offense. Sheppard played the worst game of his career, by the way.
Yeah.
He was terrible. This was unbelievable. After the game, Jay Wright's on CBS, and I think this is basically something that you've been saying for a long time as well, but as I tweeted out last night, Jay Wright dropped the mic talking about Cal at Kentucky moving forward.
The era of taking these young freshmen and trying to play against older players is over. I think he did a phenomenal job with these guys all year, getting them to be as successful as they were. You can see they're playing against grown men. The guys on Kentucky will be far better pros than any of these guys on Oakland or any of these guys in the tournament, but they're not as good college basketball players. At this point in their career, they're not as disciplined yet as the guys from Oakland. And it's not Cal's fault. It's they're 18 years old, and they're in this era where everyone's telling them how great they are. Just show up in college and you're going to win. It doesn't happen that way. And the more the guys stay in college because of NIL, it's going to be tougher for young teams like this to be successful.
Golke, 24 years old.
Well,
there you go.
One other thing, though, too. He doesn't develop them, and he doesn't know what he has. That's the other problem. He didn't know what he had in Devin Booker. He doesn't know what he has in these guys. You mentioned Sheppard and Dillingham.
Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, another great example, right? We ran this like 2 years ago on the show. You ran it down. All the top pros in the NBA. He had them all.
Every single one of them.
He can't make a Final Four.
No.
It's a joke.
That was Jay Wright on CBS last night. I would beg him, once Kentucky decides to buy out Calipari, make Jay Wright the Godfather offer. Because that guy, I know people want to rip on him as well for like early failures at Villanova. Mm-hmm. He turned it around. If you watch the 2016 team or the 2018 team play at all, the 2018 team he coached exactly like Steve Kerr did at Golden State. He figured it out. They were unstoppable. That 2018 Villanova team is one of the best teams in recent years. So anyway, so the winner of that game now gets NC State. They pulled off another upset last night.
I know.
The shenanigans last night, unreal what took place. Drake blew another one.
Yep, up 8 late. Second back-to-back years they've been up 8 late and lost the game. Sure. We got nothing on Nevada, though. Nevada's an all-timer.
That's
up 17 with 7 minutes and 46 seconds left. They score 4 points the rest of the game and lose. Impossible.
Yeah.
In regulation, impossible.